We'll have time for more questions at the very, very end, but let's go through our last module, sales or selling. So what we've covered so far is we've gone through some very basic concepts in terms of a group. We went through 3 of the product lines that we saw quite a bit of: the alternative funded group medical, voluntary benefits, and last but not least, ICHRA. So now the question is, now that I got all this stuff, how do I go about selling? So let's first talk about why would somebody sell, why would an agent sell alternative funded group medical? Well, we love this program because of how unique it is and different it is. Your traditional group broker isn't talking about alternative funded. They don't understand it. They don't know what it is. You can walk into an employer and the employer goes, oh, another group medical rep. No. What I'm offering is different from what all these other guys are talking about. It provides a great employee benefit because it can save them money. And with that savings in premium, they can use to stack it with things that can cover out-of-pocket costs, provide better employee satisfaction, and improve employee retention. Alternative funded medical is also sold by saying, look, Mr. Employer, you can get a refund of your premium by having a good health year. Your traditional group medical is going to pocket any money if you have a good health year. And it's great for agents. Prospecting, as I mentioned, is simple and easy. It's a chance to be more efficient and make more money. So selling alternative funded medical really, to me, is the backbone of our entire offering. This slide should tell you that this is how to get started. Go get a census and use alternative funded medical as a way to get the employer's attention, and you'll be able to get a lot of employers interested in talking to you. Now let's talk about the employees. How do we go about selling to the employees our offering? Well, the mistake that some agents make in the traditional group world is they just want to sell group insurance, they want to sell it to the employer, and then they want to run. They don't want to deal with anything else, and that's why they don't make any money. What we do is we start with putting together the alternative funded group medical, and then we stack these different pieces like fixed benefit health products, critical illness, accident, short-term disability, and dental to provide the employee with a complete solution and still keep it at a price they can afford. If this sounds familiar, well, it should, because this is the backbone, this is the chassis of how we've offered health insurance for the better part of the last 5 years. We always want to provide a solution that can lower the cost of the medical and therefore be able to stack other plans, provide the client with a more comprehensive solution, still keep it at a price they can afford, and make a great living. When it comes to these programs, when we sell them, we can sell them either, as an example, with the Aetna PPO network, the Cigna PPO network. And if you haven't started selling reference-based pricing, you better start getting used to this, because this is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was talking to an agent yesterday, and he was like, oh man, I got to sell something with a reference-based pricing. And all that really means is they abide by the Medicare fee schedule. I'm just telling you guys, this is where this industry is going. You're not going to have to wait for regulators to start forcing the Medicare fee schedule on providers. Insurance companies are already traveling down that path. The only thing in their way of making that happen throughout everything they do are agents. So don't be sitting on the sideline saying, I'm just going to stick with the old way of doing things. Pretty soon they're going to start forcing the issue, and you don't want to do that. If you don't understand how reference-based pricing works, it's really simple. There is no network with reference-based pricing. They simply use the Medicare fee schedule to reimburse providers. Providers already accept the Medicare fee schedule. Typically, this pays more than Medicare. But anyway, start learning. If you don't know about reference-based pricing, start learning. This is where things are going. All right. So when we're talking to an employee, we've got to be able to show them how we're going to be able to provide them with that comprehensive solution, yet keep it at a price everybody can afford. So here's an example of a 40-year-old single non-smoking employee, and with a traditional group, well, we'll get to that here in a second. So here's how we can put together the solution. We add the alternative funded group medical, plus a fixed benefit plan, plus critical illness, accident, disability, plus dental. We add all of that, and we're still only at $500 a month. The beauty of this is we've provided the same group medical coverage that they had before, but at a lower cost. And by using that difference to provide first dollar benefits for things like fixed benefit indemnity plans, plus protect them against the cost of a critical illness and the ever popular dental, all on the same group employee. What that's also going to do for you is you're going to make a heck of a better living doing this than you would selling group insurance. If any of you come from a group background, you're going to say, man, group health insurance, those spreads are razor thin, and they are. Not with what we do. Same 10-person group, like we've been talking about, you can make a great living selling this package. So not only does the employer win, not only does the employee win, but so does the agent. If you sold this same 10-person group in this example, a traditional group medical, you'll make a few grand versus $83.50 for selling our alternative approach. A couple other concepts I'm going to throw in here, trying not to get too complicated. One of the other types of stacks that we do on a group is by layering in minimum essential coverage and then stacking a fixed benefit along with a critical illness accident plus a dental and even life insurance. By the way, all of those products are from Transamerica. Minimum essential coverage is from Enrollment First, which most of you have already gotten contracted for. This is a really simple, easy way to provide a very low-cost solution to certain types of employer groups that really need rock bottom prices and still meet minimum essential coverage requirements as required from employers from the Affordable Care Act. One of the other things that I hear Dina talking about a lot too, and I think sometimes agents get confused, is you can also take this approach even if you are selling traditional Obamacare style Blue Cross and Blue Shield products to the employer. While it doesn't necessarily work as well because the prices are higher, but for agents to say, hey, look, I got a group and there's a couple health issues in here and I need to be able to put them on Blue Cross. I said, great, that's fine. But you still are going to make the most money by stacking those assurity benefits like critical illness, accident, short-term disability, and life insurance. This model still works. And in some geographies, as some agents will tell you, you got some reasonable rates when it comes to these Obamacare group plans. If it works, great, sell it. We don't offer them, but you'll make the most money by stacking the voluntary. All right, a couple last things, and then we'll get to some last questions. And I realize I appreciate so much you guys sticking around this long. All right, so what's the sales process? You're going to obtain quotes. You're going to meet with the employer decision makers. Then you're going to present the plan. You're going to do the employer application. Once they give you the green light, you're going to set up the group in the billing, and then you're going to enroll employees. That's not that many steps. I think so often agents look at the group business and say, oh, there's so many steps in the sales process, so time consuming, and it doesn't have to be. Once you have a quote, all you got to do is meet with the decision maker, get a green light, have them fill out the employer app, get the group set up, and enroll the employees. Always remember that you always have an expert that is willing to help you on every single case, to help you close it, to help you answer any questions, to help you handle objections, to learn how to deal with group agents, learn how to compete against traditional group medical. And that's Dina Schmidt. She's our National Group Sales Director. She is our company's top overall producer, our top group medical producer, and our top worksite producer. So don't sit around saying, oh, I don't want to do this because I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to use what terms to use. I don't want to look dumb. You got an asset in your back pocket to help you with every step of the process. All right, I know that was an awful lot of stuff to cover. Let's see if we have any remaining questions. Johnny is asking, why is it important to get an employee's hire date? Ooh, that's a good one, Johnny. So first of all, your group medical carriers are going to require hiring dates, but that's for a couple of reasons. One is because a lot of employers have waiting periods before a new employee is eligible for coverage. So they want to keep track of the hire date in case it's tomorrow, then they might have to wait 30 days or 60 days, depending on what the employer set up. In addition, periodically, you're going to use hire date as a classification as well. But long and short of it, yes, you do need the employer's hire date in the census. I sometimes get from agents like, well, what happens if they can't remember the exact date? The exact date's not going to make a hill of beans of difference, but no, we do need the hiring date. Sam is asking, where can I get additional information on reference-based pricing? Great question, Sam. So I have two suggestions. One is send a note to sales and they can send you a couple links to websites where you can do some research. But the best way to do it is get a census and run a quote, include a reference-based pricing option, and then we'll walk you through how those are similar and how those are different from other types of network options. Sam is also asking, what is MEC? You know, I'm sorry, Sam, I shouldn't assume that everybody knows what MEC means. So MEC stands for Minimum Essential Coverage. So a little history, back when Obamacare passed, they created regulations that said that in order to qualify as being qualified health insurance, they must meet minimum essential coverage requirements. Those minimum essential coverage requirements included things like preventive had to be covered at 100% as an example. So in order to meet those requirements, insurance companies went out and built products that were basically nothing except the minimum requirements. So by building that, it met the legal qualifications, and so that had a whole ripple effect. And yet at the same time, you don't actually have to have the health insurance portion of it. Anyway, I know that's getting a little complicated. Maybe that was a little too much to cover on this training, but long and short of it, it is just a weapon that we use in order to meet regulatory requirements and at the same time provide the employer and employees some really nice basic benefits. Robin is asking, how do carriers handle balance billing? Yeah, so Robin, in the group medical world, you're exactly right. There is still some risk out there with regard to balance billing. And unless a carrier specifically promises that there is no balance billing, there is that potential of an issue. That's why you see that in the newspapers. That definitely is still out there. In general, what we have found is that your best way to avoid balance billing issues is stay away from HMOs and stick with PPOs, because PPOs reimbursements are going to be more generous and the provider availability is going to be significantly wider. So that's really my best recommendation on how to avoid surprise billing. All right, I realize, guys, that was awfully long. I appreciate everybody who stuck around to the very end. We're now at a full hour, so I wanted to be sensitive to your time. I know you guys have lots more questions. Best way to get started, go get a census. Don't try to be an expert by the end of the day. What you need to do is spend your time finding employers, get a census, get that over to sales, and the rest of it we'll walk you through every aspect of it.